Well, hello. Thank you, guys. This is very special. We normally shoot Teague's Take on Wednesday nights, but you guys know that I typically do something special at the TAPSCon, at our TAPS convention each year, where I get to highlight some of our school and coaches and things of that nature. So today we're going to have 6 individuals on the show today. We're going to get started because, man, I am so excited about this young lady that I have with us today with our topic, just getting to know her a little bit. So, Stefanie Hill, I need to tell you, she is the athletic director at Ursuline Academy in Dallas. She's been in the industry for about 13 years total or so. She hadn't been in Dallas that long, though.
Nope, only three.
3 years
In Dallas.
now. Um, she not only is she the athletic director, but she's become our district president too as well. Yay! Wait, what did we do really well? Yeah. So now she gets to do all the work and put all those schedules in the TMS that we learned about today in the future.
I was going to say, I think that might be the only applause I'm going to get for being district president for however long I do it. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, but the talk, what I wanted to talk to her about first, because I think it's so important, Stephanie, is because when we talk about sports psychology, so we always talk about it at JP2, where I'm at, the school that I'm the athletic director at, and any other school that I've been at, on what do we do with our mindset, whether that's from a player's perspective, a coach's perspective, or even maybe a athletic director's perspective. So you got a session that's going to be going on a little bit later today, right? It's called Sports Psychology, Coaching Through Connection, the role of compassion in coaches' well-being. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're going to hit on in that today?
Yeah, I'll try and summarize, but I'm going to go back a little bit just to kind of explain how Coaching Through Connection came about. And we have a partnership with UNT and their sports psychology department. A guy, Dr. Trent Petrie, is my connection there. And so in collaborating with him over the 3 years I've been here in Dallas, we've came up with this Coaching Through Connection model. And we're actually really excited about it. We presented on it last year a little bit, and just the point of how we can have our coaches connect with our athletes in a way that's motivating them. And then another angle off of that is compassion, and how, one, as coaches, we're being compassionate towards our athletes. But as we were kind of talking earlier, for our coaches, coaching is a tough job. There's a lot to it. It's an emotional job. You're invested in kids. You've got athletics which is high intensity, and there's just a lot that goes on there, and making sure that our coaches are feeling supported. Because like I said, one, I don't think we pay them enough. Two, we don't have a full-on degree or training program you go through to become a coach. It's basically trial by fire. So that we ensure our young coaches who are up and coming aren't burning out, and that they are feeling supported in this role. What can we help them learn to be the best that they can be? Because if we have our coaches taking care of themselves, showing up in the best way that they can, then they can help our athletes do the same. But if we are only talking to our athletes about mindset and all that stuff, I feel like we're missing that middle link, where that coach, that is the face of your program, that is the person that's in front of kids.
So what do we need to do? What are you saying to me, as an athletic director? We got 13 full-time head coaches, I think, maybe 17 or so, that I'm around. What is it that we need to do? Is it just leadership or PowerPoints, reading books? What are you saying?
That's good. I'm going to say all of it. I mean, it is leadership. It all comes down to leadership. And the way I look at it is, I'm coaching my coaches the same way I expect them to coach the kids.
Excellent.
So I'm trying to form one-on-one connections with each of them. They're each in a different place. I have coaches who've coached for 30 years. I have coaches I've coached for 2 years. I have coaches across the board in their experience and level. And so it's forming a connection with each of them, where they can each feel supported, and like we have a common goal for their growth. Each of it, again, is going to look different. My goal and growth I have with Nikki as our basketball coach is going to be different than that of Darren as our soccer coach. And so forming those one-on-one connections, getting to know them personally, knowing how I can best support them, That's a huge piece of it. And it's the same expectation I have for our coaches with our athletes is you better know everyone on your team. You better know something about them. You better know what motivates them. You better know what they need to hear when they're down, those sorts of things. And I think sometimes we get into the administrator role and we get so locked into all the work we have to do in checking boxes that we forget, like, I view my main role is to help motivate my coaches to be the best they can be.
Man, that is so awesome. And I'm glad that you really emphasize that, because I don't think a lot of us sometimes, not just athletic directors, leaders in general, right? They're just so worried about pushing the paper, meeting a deadline or something, and they're not necessarily getting to know their staff. And that's where environments can get toxic or not welcoming or whatever, right? Because if I don't know you, she said it the best way I can think of saying it is really that if you don't know your coaches or your employees, you can't motivate them the same way. So we're always talking about it as a coach that, hey, I need to get to know every single athlete. And she's saying we just need to do the same thing as athletic directors.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, like, again, back to coaching being a tough job, we ask coaches to really put themselves out there. They have to perform in front of a crowd every night for games, right? And I always liken it for teachers. Like, could you imagine what teachers would feel like if the parents got to sit there and critique their every lesson and everything they did? Seriously, though. And these coaches, they go out there and they make decisions, they make choices, they put their team out there and do the best they can do. And they do that all in front of a crowd. And there's always someone who has something to say about it. And there's always someone to critique what they're doing. So it takes a lot of backbone to be able to do that. So then on the back end, like, how are we refilling their tank and encouraging them to continue to grow and be the best they can be? Because it doesn't matter how good of a job you do, someone's going to have something to say about it.
So, Stephanie, I got to ask this because you made me think of something. Who has it worse then, a coach or an official?
Okay, this I'll say the official, because they get both sides yelling at them. The coach usually only has like their own group of parents who's upset or whatever. And that's not to say all the time. Obviously, there's supportive parents out there, and there's a lot of supportive environments. But I think too, it's just being really intentional and understanding the pressure that coaches are under. Because when I got to Ursuline, I feel like it was kind of a bit of a culture shift. Ursuline's been a school that's around for a long time, a long tradition, especially in the sport of soccer, of success. And this idea and this pressure that coaches felt to win. We just need to win. We have to win. We have to win. When you operate from that mindset, you are bound to make bad decisions. Bad decisions for your kids. It's like being in business and operating only for the bottom line. Like, someone's going to make a bad call or do the wrong thing in the wrong moment because you're coming from the wrong perspective. So really, over this 3 years I've been there, it's been trying to shift the perspective back to, this is education-based athletics. We are a faith-based high school. This is about creating an experience for kids where not only are we pushing them to be the best athlete they can be, but they better come out a better person. Like, if they don't do that, we've really failed on a major level, because we all know the stats of how many kids are going on to play in college, and then past that, how many are making it past that. But they all go out into the world and contribute to our community. So we have this massive opportunity to impart in them lessons and things that will help them to grow and be positive contributing members of our society. And I just think that message gets missed in the push to win games and have that winning record. And that starts with athletic administration. If we're not willing to stand our ground and go, this coach is a good coach, they're doing the right thing by kids, we don't have the talent, the skill level, the experience at this point to be winning state championships, that doesn't mean that coach doesn't know what they're doing.
Right.
They're doing everything else right. So let it play out, let them build, let them work towards being the best they can be. But unfortunately, I think that's, as athletic administration, where we really need to focus and grow, is to know, like, what are we rewarding? Yep. Because if we're just rewarding wins and losses, then we're going to get coaches who continue to make bad decisions for kids because they're under that pressure.
Well, then you're becoming a pro team and not a high school team if it's a win at all costs. So
exactly.
Can you give us a little bit more about Ursuline, just meaning where you're located? Maybe if there are people who are listening that are out of the state, you got a lot of people that move in to here, and then maybe they're looking for a Catholic school. How do they find you? How do they look you up?
Yeah, so obviously the internet is a great search tool for that one. But we are just in North Dallas, so just north of downtown Dallas. It's a school, like I said, been around. We celebrated our 150th birthday this year, all year long.
Man, I am such a child. JB2's about to hit 20.
I know it's a big one. It's really a great school. Definitely, it's an all girls school, which is a key aspect of it, I think. And like it really depends. I think all school environment, or sorry, all girls environment is great for some people. Some people it's not a fit. It kind of just depends on the person. Highly academic school. So academic excellence is something that is stressed at Ursuline. We have such smart, great kids at our school. And that's really one of the focuses. And then I would say the other piece is community. Like Ursuline is just this very like loving, generous, awesome community that was founded by Ursuline sisters for all girls. It's just a very supportive environment and just a great place to be all around. And then I get to bring my passion for athletics and what I do and just contribute that to the Ursuline community. But it really is a fantastic school.
No, that's awesome. So you guys make sure you guys check that out. It's Ursuline Academy of Dallas, Texas. If you guys are ever interested in learning more about that school, please do that. If you're interested in any part of the school, reach out to the admissions department, get some more information that way. Okay, so what I haven't mentioned is that you said you were at Ursuline for 3 years, but prior to that, you were out in California, right? So people are always talking about the differences, not in just the states, but the athletics between the two. So what have you seen the difference between athletics out in California versus not just necessarily TAPS versus something, just in general, big picture? What have you learned?
Yeah, I was at a very different school in California also. So I was at a co-ed private school, but it was a much smaller school than what Ursuline is. So much smaller high school, but it was co-ed. I would say the biggest difference, if we're just talking state to state, is the workings of the state organizations. So in California, everything is under CIF, private and public schools. So they're all lumped together. Power rankings is the tool used to kind of navigate divisions and whatnot. And they've used that and done that for years. And that was a really seamless process. I think that's been the biggest adjustment for me coming here to Texas, is to see the state associations that are very separate. And we get, as you know, in private school, a lot of pushback from being able to play public schools, finding good competition, not having to travel for hours. It's kind of frustrating because at the end of the day, I feel like we're all here for the kids, and we have these resources right next door that if we could just, as the adults in the room, partner and work together, could create better experiences for all, save everyone money, do all these things. But we have these very, dividing boundaries between public and private and this and that. And I think that's sometimes tough because, like I said, I would hope everyone, we're here for the kids. So like, how can we figure out to work together and make the most of it?
Okay. Well, have you visited any beaches in Texas yet? And how do they compare?
I haven't been to the beaches, but okay. So I grew up in Minnesota, land of 10,000 lakes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. What I am going to tell you is, I'm sorry, but the lakes in Texas are not lakes. Like, I look at these, it's like lakes in Minnesota are like crystal clear. You can swim in them. They're great. And here they're like, oh, yeah, there's this lake in Texas. And you go to the lake, and I'm like, I wouldn't.
But those lakes are cold up there too.
Yeah, but
and
you go in July.
Did you go ice fishing? Did you go ice fishing?
Yes, of course.
You did, for real?
Yes.
You sat up there and put the little line down in the little hole?
I grew up 10 minutes from the Canadian border. So the only thing to do in the winter is to snowmobile, ice fish, all that good stuff. So yes, I spent many winters ice fishing.
Well, okay. And I did not ice fish. So I don't know if you knew or remember or whatever. So I did live in Green Bay for a while, playing for the Green Bay Packers. So I understand what that is.
So sorry.
So I understand the weather. Someone did ask me, did I want to go ice fishing? And I said, no, I don't. And plus, I was scared just to get on any kind of ice. I watched too many scary movies, man, where people just get on ice and then crack and
you're good. You can drive vehicles out on it.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what
you have to drill way down through it. The thing you have to clarify if someone asks you to go ice fishing is there an ice house or are we sitting on the lake? Because if there's an ice house, you're basically sitting in a little cabin fishing through the floor, which is awesome. They're going to make you sit out on the lake. Like, no. It's going to be way too cold.
Oh, well, see?
There you go.
When you come to a TAPS convention, you get to learn a whole lot of stuff, not just about how to help motivate your coaches or learning about different things, but you can learn how to ice fish too. And now I know the right question to ask just in case someone ask me to do that, So
Absolutely.
okay, but so before I let you get out of here, I guess I want to ask you became a athletic administrator. Did you coach any sports beforehand,
Yeah.
and what was that?
Yeah, I coached middle school volleyball first, and then I coached middle school and high school girls basketball. I played basketball in college in Canada. So basketball was my sport. So that's what I coached. And then I coached until I coached while I was an associate AD. And then once I became the athletic director, I was the assistant coach for a year and then kind of just backed away. I felt like it was really hard. And I know it's a trend I think we've been seeing more of where like once people move into athletic administration, they tend to kind of step away from coaching.
Yep.
I think it's a good move because I really honestly, like, I looked at it like I don't want to be I have to deal with all the issues that come up. I don't want to be showing to my team, like getting pulled out of practice in the middle of it and saying, hey, sorry guys, I got to go deal with this and whatnot. And just the idea that like no one ever views you as impartial or that you support all programs if you coach.
You only care about
right.
That
You only
one.
care about the one. So I don't know. I think it's a good move that we've seen. I know it's hard because if you've gotten into athletic administration, it was through coaching usually, and everyone really loves the connection with the kids. And that's the one thing I miss is that daily connection with the students. But at the same time, like I said, I'm trying to use my coaches for that. I look at those are now the kids I'm coaching.
Well, Stefanie, I have to say that I am probably more aligned with you than I even thought of in the past because of what you hit on there. When I came to JP2, I was an athletic director and a football coach, and I'm no longer the football coach because of what you just said. A lot of issues. One, it was just kind of hard to do, and I hated that waiting till the last minute, like, oh my gosh, I got football practice because I was worried about something else. The kids could see it, but the same way what you said that because I was a football coach is like, well, he only cares about football, so going above and beyond to try to help volleyball or something else, and it does make it difficult, particularly when you get to larger schools like we're are in as well. Okay, well, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before we wrap it up? We got 2 minutes left. Kids, people at work, the husband, whatever it is.
Oh my goodness, that's so much
else.
pressure. Well, you just nailed all the big ones. I
All
mean, I
right.
feel like no one can do what we do without one, the support of your family, because like I said, someone's always upset with you. I feel like it doesn't matter how good of a job you do. There's always a reason someone's upset. So having support at home with your spouse and having your kids and being able to kind of disconnect is awesome. So, I have a daughter that's 10 and a son that's 7, and my husband helps take care of them, and that's really been the way that I'm able to do what I do, especially as a female. And then obviously our coaches at Ursuline, we had 4 coaches that were coach of the year this year in TAPS. They've been doing an amazing job and really just bought into everything I came and showed up and started talking about and got no real pushback. Just it's been buying and it's been great so far. So obviously they do all the hard work. I get to sit back and talk to them about what we're going to do, and then they have to go implement it, and they've just done an amazing job. So
well, congratulations on all the great work you're doing. We're looking forward to watching you continue to have the success that you have, and that's building programs that are sustainable and positive. I don't get to say it to you enough, but we appreciate what you do for our district and things as well. You bring laughter, you bring fun, you bring seriousness, you bring strength as well. So thank you for spending a little time with us. We hope that you enjoy TAPSCon for the remainder of the time. And we are going to see you soon. So we're going to give you another round of applause real fast for Stefanie Hill. Make sure you guys look up Ursuline Academy and give her a shout if you ever need it. Thank you so very much. And with that, we're going to end this session. But we'll be back in about 10 minutes with Steve Prudhomme. He is the associate director here at TAPS. He has been a coach. He was at Nolan Catholic School for a while. He's an athletic director there, and we're gonna go a little bit further with this and talk about program building and how you actually start it. So make sure you guys tune in, find that link, and click in. With that, we're gonna call it a day. Deuces.